Hey guys, TrepChains here. Thought I'd make a video to join in the Blizzcon Diablo hype. I've been kind of watching all the Diablo build up and getting a bit excited myself that we might actually get something this year, which would be nice. And yeah, just wanted to share, I guess, what we've seen so far and what I hope to come, because I have also been asked to make a video on what I would like for the next game. So, start with, I guess, first thing we got was a look at this BlizzCon art, which I believe will make up some of the key art for 2018, which includes this new version of Diablo. And it does look, in general, quite like the Diablo 2 Diablo, except there is no soulstone, right? So we've got no soulstone right here. We've just got this extra horn. So if we looked at, I've got here some of the Diablo 2 art, maybe, there we go, Diablo 2 art. This is a soulstone here. So that's the key difference. And similarly, if you look at, say, the Heroes of the Storm Diablo, it seems to be modelled off of the Diablo 2 Diablo with a soulstone here. So the fact there is no soulstone was definitely means it's, I guess, a slightly different version of Diablo, which is cool. Okay, so Diablo looks somewhat like a new Diablo. That's cool. That got me excited. Okay, next up, just a couple days ago now, they released the schedule, and so we've been kind of waiting for this. There is only 2 Diablo slots, but importantly, we get a what's next this year. We got nothing like that last year. What's next on the main stage right after the opening ceremony, so that's exciting. Hopefully that means we get some good big news for Diablo. And the other panel we have is pretty much at the end. So again, on the main stage, right at the end, there's a World and Q&A Diablo, or see, it's just before the closing ceremony there. So it's still not much, right? There's still only like 2 specific Diablo panels in the schedule right now, unless they fill in this gap here with something. So still only 2 Diablo panels in there right now. So I'm really hoping we get a next Diablo game announcement. Since the schedule has been released, they also released some of what will be the BlizzCon gear, and I just want to show that now because they're in the 9 items they released. There is 2 specifically Diablo related items, and that is this Dark Wanderer backpack, which looks quite cool, and the snap front jacket, which honestly the picture is too small for me to tell what it looks like. So on this Dark Wanderer backpack, you see the little icon here. It looks very Diablo 2 like. Looks well, Dark Wanderer, there you go. If we go to our Diablo 2 game, Dark Wanderer, there we go. So that kind of got me a bit concerned, because when I put that with the schedule, Dark Wanderer makes me think Diablo 2, maybe Diablo 2 revamp, when honestly what I want is I want a brand new game. So, and if I look at the schedule, I've only got 2 hours really of Diablo panels, or they're much better named panels than we've had, say, last year, so it looks like something is coming, and I mean, great positioning right after the opening ceremony on the main stage and right before the closing ceremony on the main stage, so that's really cool. But with only 2 panels, there isn't really enough time, I don't think, to talk about a new game and a Diablo 2 remaster. So the little Diablo 2 looking thing on the backpack made me go, oh no, please don't give me a remaster when I really want a new game. So I'm going to pretend that I'm still hyped for a new game, because if they just give a Diablo 2 remaster and nothing else, I'm going to be a bit disappointed personally. So hopefully they give that new game, an announcement of a new game. Please make me happy, Blizzard. But at least we know we've got some good Diablo news coming. So yeah, quite hyped for Diablo over here. And then, since I've been asked about it, in the comments on YouTube, I did want to take a little bit of a look, or not really a look, I did want to have a little bit of a chat about what I think about the next Diablo. So I'm going to run some gameplay while we talk about that. Okay, so for my thoughts on what I would like for the next Diablo game, I'm really going to refer a lot to what I liked and haven't liked as much of Diablo 3 and Diablo 2, because I'm not a game designer, let's face it, so I don't really know what they're going to do with the next game. So let's start with my personal biggest issue with Diablo 3, which is Paragon. The Paragon system, when I talk about the biggest issue in Diablo 3, I mean Reaper of Souls as the game currently stands is Paragon. Now, why is Paragon my biggest issue? Because of this endless leveling. What the endless leveling does is give endless power, or more power with all the more levels. And that encourages botting, it encourages no-lifing. And I don't think either of those things are good. A lot of people, if you say, oh, I want a Paragon cap, here I am saying, I want a Paragon cap, flame me in the comments, will say, oh, but if they do more, if they play more, they deserve better, you know, they deserve this extra power. And I look at it and go, well, I'm not really aware, and again, tell me I'm wrong in the comments if you like, of any other decent game that has endless power for leveling. I'm just not aware of it. And when I've mentioned this to people in chat, I haven't really got any good responses. Whether it's no-lifing or botting, it doesn't matter to me. It's really not healthy for someone to go, okay, to be at the top of the game, I'm going to have to sit in front of my computer and play this video game for 14 hours a day. That's not cool. I think there needs to be an achievable level cap that within, if there's seasons in the next Diablo game, but within whatever kind of thing, someone could reach playing just a few hours a day. So in the current game, I put that around 1500, which people may say is a bit low now because of all the power creep, but that's just my thoughts. But whatever it is in the next game, I want some kind of cap. They're still gonna, you know, people who play more will still get better things. They still got more loot drops, etc. They still get more mats. I don't think there needs to be this endless paragon, which to me encourages both botting and no-lifing. End rant. Okay, so what else do I think apart from no endless leveling? More open maps. You can see here in this GR, we're running through a West March, which is cool. West March is one of the ones that is more random as well, at least in GRs, or at least I don't know them that well or something. But basically more like Diablo 2. Now, while I think this is great and it's fun to explore this more open world, I do feel a bit conflicted saying that, because while I think it's a good thing, and this is something I hear a lot of people agree on, that they want more open, random world in Diablo. It's a bit conflicted because people say that, lots of people say that, and that people use overlays and stuff to try and always find the quickest way anyway. So I don't quite get it. I don't quite get that mentality that people say, hey, I want this big open world, but it doesn't matter where it is. It happened in Diablo 2 with map hacks. It's happening in Diablo 3 with overlays. People are trying to get out of there quicker. So it's a bit of an odd one from the community, that one. But I really would like that. More openness, more randomness. Okay, one of the things I do like from Diablo 3 that I would like to see continue is some form of competitive play versus monster, team versus monster type setup, which in Diablo 3 is the Greater Rifts. I really enjoy playing Greater Rifts. I really enjoy pushing with my team. Obviously, I post a lot of that stuff. So I really enjoyed that, and I hope we have some kind of semi-competitive PVM mode in the next Diablo game. Now, what we don't have in Diablo 3, and what was promised originally, is PvP. So honestly, I didn't ever play much PvP in Diablo 2. However, I recognize the value, and if it's in the next Diablo game, I expect I would participate. Until I know how it works, I can't really say. But I want PvP if it's effectively in some kind of separate mode arena where it can be balanced effectively. I don't want it affecting my PvM experience. But I don't mind if, in your PvP arena that you go into, you have to pick like these, set gear sets, right? So there isn't that advantage over, I got the better rolls or something. If I picked I'm just going to take Diablo 3 examples as what we're familiar with. If I picked an unhallowed set, that unhallowed set would effectively have set rolls. So anybody who picked the unhallowed set would have those same set rolls to just try and give a bit more control or something like that. So yeah, I would like PvP, but as long as there was some evenness to it and some kind of balancing considered. And the other reason that I do want to see PvP in the next Diablo game is because I believe it will make it a much more successful game, and I want Diablo, whatever's coming next, to be a successful game. Okay. Now, one of the things that I really liked, particularly early on in Diablo 3, because shortly before Diablo 3 I did go back to playing a bunch of Diablo 2 in my hype for Diablo 3, was I really like in Diablo 3 the individualized loot. In that I always get my own drops, everybody else in the team gets their own drops, and we all have a chance of getting good gear. In Diablo 2, I did not like the shared loot system. If you're in a party, you effectively had to get to the loot first, right? The loot drop was available to everyone, you had to get there first. I didn't think that was a good thing, particularly because I played on US servers, so I had ping issues, but I also played in Amazon most of the time, and that arranged Amazon, and so I wasn't even near the monsters that were being killed, and therefore I basically, when I was in parties, and I prefer playing multiplayer, let's face it, I didn't generally get the good drops. So, yeah, I do like the individual loot of Diablo 3, so I hope that we get individual loot in whatever game comes next. Okay, one of the other things I see talked about a lot is itemization. Now, overall, I don't have a huge amount of opinion on the itemization. To me, Diablo 2 seemed pretty much as cookie cutter build as Diablo 3. Yay, Diablo 2, if rare gloves were rolled right, they were useful because there weren't any other good gloves. But honestly, I really don't feel that Diablo 2 had lots of different builds compared to what I see in Diablo 3, but it's just my opinion. However, what Diablo 2 did have was reduced variability of rolls. And I think the reduced variability of rolls was a really good thing. There's some items we have in Diablo 3, for example, you get a Traveler's Pledge Amulet, and its roll of crit damage is anywhere from 50% to 100%, and that's honestly just ridiculous, because you can get the right rolls, but the item can still be trash. So I'm hoping that however they do the itemization, that they actually use for something like a legendary or whatever it would be called in the next Diablo game, that it has this reduced variability, so that if I get, a wind force, like I got a wind force, in Diablo 2 that had that nice small range of stats. So if I had, a not as good wind force, it wasn't that far below a really good wind force, whereas in Diablo 3, a not as good, let's say a Yang's, is significantly worse than a really good Yang's, and stats that are required for the build, for example, for the Yang's, or often teamed with the Unhallowed set, it really should have max discipline on that secondary as a standard role. So more standardized roles and less variability of roles, I think, is quite important. The other thing I want to mention in terms of itemization is rune words. I loved Diablo 2 rune words, and I hope that somehow the developers who are developing the next Diablo game decide to bring some form of rune words back into the game. I think I would really enjoy that, as long as they did produce quite decent items, at least in some cases. So, one other thing I want to mention, and it's, I guess, been a relatively large topic, is trading. So, it's a bit of an odd topic for me because I didn't like Diablo 2 trading. Actually, I really didn't like it. So to me, Diablo 2 trading was, I get an item that is known as being good. There's an item I want that I really can't find. So I've got to make a game, put a name on it, and hope that someone's got effectively wants the thing I've got, has that thing, and I have to just sit in that game and wait. So my game time is spent sitting around in town waiting, hoping someone joins the game that has the trade I want. And then, you know, if I have to alt tab for a few minutes, then, and they join in that time, then I've missed it. Honestly, really boring. And I know people say there are other forums around that you could trade on, you know, external sites, but I didn't really want to have to post in some external forum to be able to trade. So I actually don't want Diablo 2 style trading at least back. I like Diablo 3's that I can give anything to everyone in game. Like, sure, I wish it was extended to anyone in clan or anyone on friends or something like that, as long as they were on there for a reasonable amount of time. But I don't necessarily think that this worldwide trading is a good thing unless it's got a system to support it. And, you know, Diablo 3, they tried the auction house and that didn't work out. So yeah, so that's, I guess, my thoughts on trading, is that I don't really want Diablo 2 style trading, which I assume lots of people disagree with me. Quite happy that for the most part in Diablo 3 we can find the items that we need or craft them. That's cool with me. I guess other things, most of us find that we like moving fast, so please, Blizzard, don't reintroduce stamina. I like that we can just run as fast as we can all the time. That's great. And the main last thing I want to mention is party size. So Diablo 2, I could have parties of 8, which is kind of cool, kind of a lot of fun. Diablo 3, I guess I've got used to the parties of 4. Initially it felt really small, but I would like the option to have more. Not sure if 8 is the right solution, but hey, maybe 6. Something like that would be cool. Yeah, so a couple more people in party, maybe at least as many classes as they are, could do some more fun things. Could also be harder to find a consistent group if the max size party is bigger, because it's always can be difficult to find good people to play with. But yeah, a larger max party size I think could be cool. So yeah, I think that's my main initial thoughts on what I would like to see from the next Diablo game, and it's really how I see the positives and negatives for me personally of Diablo 3 and Diablo 2. So get hyped, please Blizzard, give us a new Diablo game. We would really like it, or at least announce that you're working on it, which I guess we know you are, but it'd be nice to know when that's coming. Hope you all have enjoyed my random video. Thank you very much for watching, and GG!